My wife has always been unwilling to have a baby. In order to have another child, I secretly use her towel to shower every day. Lucy and I already have 3 children, but I really want a 4th one, because every time my wife gets pregnant, her breasts get bigger. This fills me with a sense of achievement. I even installed an app to track Lucy's menstrual cycle 24, 25, 26. A month later, I excitedly ran to check the trash can. I hoped there was no 71-degree space inside, but I actually really dug out a red scroll inside. I was so angry I could explode. This proved that her aunt had just visited. She was not pregnant at all. I angrily dumped out all the trash. But soon I noticed something unusual. I finally understood why my plan had failed. It was actually medicine that prevented the tadpoles from finding their mother. I angrily ran to confront why Lucy was eating such things. We already have enough children in our family. You should focus on your work. I can't handle 3 children anymore. I pretended to understand Lucy and suggested she take a rest while I take care of the children. I hypocritically picked up my son. My wife seemed very happy. She thought I had finally grown up, but I wasn't that kind-hearted. I already had a plan in mind. That day, I specifically went to visit my mother-in-law. She is a very traditional woman who always believed in the blessing of many children. While the children were being affectionate, I showed her the medicine that makes it hard to conceive. My God, what is this? Lucy said she's not planning to have any more children. You need to work on changing his mind. Indeed, the older Ginger is spicier. She scolded Lucy until she was out of temper. I feel I'm getting closer to my goal. I'm already fantasizing about my wife's beautiful figure. But at this moment, I didn't notice. My son was almost unable to eat anymore, yet I kept stuffing more in. All of it. Mom, you saw it all, didn't you? He simply doesn't know how to take care of children. I will be exhausted to death. What I find unbelievable is, my mother-in-law actually sided with Lucy this time. She also felt that having another child was somewhat unnecessary. Every night thereafter, Lucy would take medicine before going to bed. This made me feel very uncomfortable. I felt somewhat sad, watching her body. I will definitely not give up. Soon I had a new idea. The next morning, I secretly switched her medicine with vitamin C. Haha. In the following weeks, I eagerly waited. A week later, Lucy's behavior indeed became abnormal. She constantly complained of back pain, sore waist, and poor sleep. And she also wanted to eat sour things. And most importantly 28, 29 and 30, her aunt was already 3 days late. And when Lucy invited me to dine at a high-end restaurant, I finally confirmed that she was pregnant. She wanted to formally announce it to me. But before Lucy could speak, I interrupted her first, because I had carefully prepared a gift for her, a piece of oversized underwear. But her reaction was very cold, although it was beautiful. But I felt I couldn't wear it, because I had already decided to undergo breast reduction surgery. I felt like the sky had fallen in an instant. No wonder she wanted to please me by inviting me to dinner. She actually wanted to get a breast reduction. I couldn't help but cry sadly. Lucy kept complaining. She felt like she was constantly carrying 2 large winter melons. This often caused her back and waist pain. The largest size clothes felt like tight-fitting garments to him. Moreover, he couldn't even practice his favorite yoga anymore. Of course, I wasn't going to give up that easily. I decided to impose economic sanctions on her. By not giving her money, she wouldn't be able to undergo the surgery. But he surprisingly pulled out a check directly. It turned out that my mother-in-law felt sorry for her daughter, and specifically gave money for him to have the surgery. It won't cost you a penny. But I really need your emotional support. On the surface, I was sympathizing with Lucy, but inside, I was already plotting how to sabotage her surgery. In my computer, there are thousands of photos of models with stunning figures. They all have one thing in common, which is that they are very fierce. I deliberately turned my body to the side, letting her see this tumultuous scene. But he didn't feel inferior. Instead, he walked away angry. I even hired a nanny with a full figure, and deliberately stared at him intensely when Lucy was present. But it had no effect at all. But I still didn't give up. The day of the surgery arrived quickly. I brought all 3 children to the hospital. I told them they could treat this place like home. They must have fun to their heart's content, and promised to buy them gifts after everything was done. Meanwhile, I pretended to be taking an important call from a leader. I couldn't manage the children. The nurse was indeed distracted and went to take care of the children. Meanwhile, I took the opportunity to go to the nurse's station. I secretly swapped my wife's medical record with a woman who had an appointment for breast augmentation surgery. I was so excited that I wished I could be in the hospital with my wife every day, but she asked me to go home to take care of the children. However, I left the children in the care of my mother-in-law. I looked forward every day to Lucy coming home soon, and fantasized about her curvaceous figure. She could rival my favorite actresses. Suddenly, footsteps startled me awake from a beautiful dream. Through the darkness of early morning, I discovered it was Lucy coming back. It was just fantastic. Even though it was 2 days earlier than expected, I immediately hugged Lucy tightly and told her the kids were not at home. No one would disturb us. But when I reached out to grab Lucy, I only grabbed air. I thought I was hallucinating. Incredulously, I pulled back the covers. To my horror, I found my wife had turned into my brother. Darling, don't you love me anymore? It turned out Lucy had long seen through my plan. Before her surgery, she was terrified to find those 2 huge things on the table. Who are those for? When the nurse pointed at Lucy, she immediately realized I was up to mischief. My body is not your personal property. I originally thought that she would consider my feelings because we are husband and wife. In fact, the reason I married her was because of her curvaceous figure. You actually ruined this luxury item. This is something many women dream of. I angrily left home. There is nothing else that can stop me from leaving Lucy. In this world, there are many women who meet my physical standards. At first, I was very happy. Later, I found out they were all after my money. When there were only $5 left in my wallet, they all left me. Despite this, I still did not give up on finding the perfect partner of my dreams, because even my wife, who came with 3 kids, also found her other half. But even after 30 years, I still haven't found a satisfying other half. Until the last moment of my life, I finally realized true happiness is not about having a partner who constantly gives, but about understanding and companionship.